Thank you for tuning in to Tuesdays with Taylor.
Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Tuesdays with Taylor. Hi everyone. On today's segment of Tuesdays with Taylor.
Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Tuesdays with Taylor.
Taylor, darling. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on Tuesdays with Taylor. Today's extra very special guest is the man who had the job and just the position that really propelled me to be sitting in this chair right now. This is Mayor, the Honorable Mayor Wayne Hall Sr. And he served, yes, definitely, we need a hand clap track. We do need one of those. He proudly served the Village of Hempstead for over 18 years.
No, 12.
No, but you were a trustee before.
18, yes.
So like 18 before. So modest and humble, obviously, right now. But this is the man who was pretty much the leader when we decided to move to Hempstead from Brooklyn. So just really excited for him to be here. The Village of Hempstead, I believe, is it the largest village in the country?
In the largest village in the country.
Largest village in the country, and just so rich with history, so rich with our culture and just so many things. And this man I got to witness and grow up with really did, I feel, such an amazing job leading the village. I've always felt like we had, true leadership, and I've always wondered how you did it. So I'm really excited to talk to you today about how you were able to pretty much be mayor of the largest village in the country for 12 years. So Mayor Hall, my first question is, why did you decide to lead in the Village of Hempstead?
Well, I was a trustee for 6 years before I, ran for mayor. And being on the board, I saw the things that were going on and which was not in the best interest to the village. Mm-hmm. When you get elected, you serve the residents, you don't self-serve yourself. And I just felt that this was not going on. And there were certain things that just didn't seem right. We had a big deficit over, over $6 million.
Wow.
And for a budget that at that time was only like $60 million,
wow.
You're talking like almost 10%.
10%, yeah.
So I felt that I can do a better job, that I can, because of my experience being in management, working in the hospital and doing budgets and so forth, I felt that I can do a better job, and I would honestly serve at for the best interest of the residents. So wow. In 2004, I decided to run, and lo and behold, I actually won after no one really believed I could win.
Wow.
But it was determination. I took 7 weeks off my job.
Wow.
I went out at 12 o'clock and then come back home until 9 o'clock at night, and I was knocking on doors all over the place,
wow.
persuading the residents that it was time for a change.
Wow, that is a powerful story. So, serving as mayor, what is the mayor's responsibility? And, were you given training? Did you get a job description? I would love to hear about how that process was going from trustee to transitioning from trustee to mayor.
Well, the training was being in management for like 20 some years before I ran for office, and being a trustee for 6 years, that was like somewhat on the job training. I was able to run the Village of Hempstead because I had good people behind me. Mm. One of the things that you realize that you're not you don't know everything, so you have to hire the best people. So I hired someone that was a controller. I had a great attorney, and the three of us to really turn the village around after about a year and a half. And we consulted other financial people. We were able to, put Hempstead in a good position. We balanced the budget, and then about 2 or 3 years later, we started to have surpluses in the village.
That's awesome.
You have to, have some kind of knowledge of management, and really in order to, running the village is like running a business. Mm-hmm. And you really have to take in consideration that the residents are our patrons, and we have to do the best for them, and that's what we did. And I thought in the 12 years that I was the mayor, that things were going great. We was on track to do certain things. And, unfortunately, I guess we ran out of time. But to be the mayor is a good job, and just the fact that you can help people.
Yes.
And that's what this is all about. I know this is what your campaign, what your office is about, and I see that you always talk about excellence, and that's what we need here in our village.
That means a lot coming from you, because there is a standard, there should be a standard, and it's all of our choices, what standards that we internalize. And I just feel like we could all use a little more guidance to remember what we are, who we are, where we came from, and where we have the ability to go. So that excellence in everything that we expect, everything that we exude, everything that we produce, your life becomes something different when you move with that intention. And that's what I want for everyone, but especially for this community that we both serve. You mentioned management a lot, right? Is there a difference between management and leadership?
Well, they both go hand in hand. When I about 2010, I went to Harvard for leadership training, for local government, and there they taught us management, they taught us leadership, and you have to be able to get people involved with what you're trying to do. You have to go out and tell them what you're trying to do so they can buy into it, because people don't like change.
Say that three more times.
They don't.
They don't like change.
And if you can have them on board, convince them that this is what's going to be good for the village, you're not going to get anywhere. And unfortunately, even though I did that, there was a certain faction out there that no matter what you did, no matter what you said, they were not going to make changes. And that was a real, that was a real.
Don't know what you're talking about.
but being in the minority community, there's a lot of disparities that we have. And because of my background in medical training, I was trying to bring out that disparity. When I worked in the hospital, I saw the disparity in our community. So being an African-American mayor, I try to incorporate talking about health disparities, and trying at the same time to make sure that we on the same level as every other village in this Long Island, because they're one of the most segregated places in the country. Even though we're in the north, we're really segregated. And so so what I tried to do is
what you did.
What I was doing was trying to tell the residents that we're just as good as Rockville Center.
Sure.
We're just as good as Garden City.
Sure.
And then that we could do this. Yeah. And it was just that, unfortunately, it's you got to keep doing it, keep talking about it. You get a group of people going along with you, but then you get the opposition, and that becomes a stalemate.
Yeah.
So in the 12 years I was there, I was trying to do the redevelopment. We got stalled because some of the residents wanted, some of the others didn't, and you get outside interference.
Definitely. So and I'm happy you brought up redevelopment. What was the issue around the redevelopment? Like why were some of our residents saying no, some of our residents saying yes? Why do we need redevelopment? Like what?
There was a couple of issues with that. The redevelopment was, if you look around on Main Street especially, there's this kind of, up especially North Main Street, there's a lot of abandoned lots. Even our village parking lots are abandoned up there. So we tried to build a senior citizen home, but the problem is the pilots. Residents feel that they didn't want to give pilots, but if you have a lot that's like the village had a lot, we invested those lots with the developer. If this lot is only producing $25,000 a year in revenue from the parking meters, and now you're going to build something on that, and it's going to first year going to give you about $870,000.
Wow, I never had it explained to me this way.
And I think even if they got that pilot, even if they got that pilot, you're still getting a lot of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
The problem in the Village of Hempstead is we have to put more property on the tax roll so we can stabilize our taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we got a lot of nonprofits here. We got a courthouse, we got the churches, we got the schools, and there's a lot of lost revenue. So what you have to do is put more property on the tax roll so that way we can stabilize the village. And basically, that's what we were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to put more property on the tax roll so they can stabilize the taxes. And not only that, we were also, those developers coming in, we told them that if you want to come in here and get a pilot, you have to hire our young men.
Community benefits packages.
You have to come in and hire our young men and give them a chance.
Men and women.
Men and women. Yeah,
Young men and women.
And you know, and give them hope. This was about hope. If you give the young men hope, now they become productive citizens. You don't have to worry about them going out and committing a crime, because now they can take care of their family.
Yeah, and we know poverty fuels crime, criminal activity.
Right.
So poverty and crime are very, very closely related.
And unfortunately, we couldn't resignate that. I don't know. Maybe it was because of the. I don't know, but it just was hard to make that change. Like I said, people don't like change, and that was the real problem that we had.
So I hear a lot about pilots, and honestly, I've spoken to a lot of leaders about pilots, and I've never had a pilot explained in that manner, where it's like, before we say no to something like that, let's get the facts. Let's get the facts, and if we, like you said, if we're only bringing in $25,000 for this lot, and we give them a pilot that's going to, blow that 25,000 to smithereens, that's something to consider, especially when you even thinking about it. If the land is not doing anything right now, if the land is not doing anything right now, and I think that historically we've been very taken advantage of in minority communities, especially ones that are doing well. And sometimes I feel like Hempstead's a great story like that, going from its history and its rich business district, and it really being a place that you could 100% take pride in, and people were living well, to just watching how things have shifted and changed, and now we're in this situation where we have some trauma. Like, we have some trauma with trusting people, like even with community benefits packages. Now, if someone says that to me, I'm like, I want to see a community benefit officer with that package. Like, I want one person employed for the duration of whatever our agreement is, so that person's one job is to track and report to the community, probably at least monthly, what's going on. If somebody quits and they need to get someone else out, there has to be a procedure where they are able to list that job through the already agreed upon platforms to the community first, and really do a good outreach. And then we go from there. Because a lot of times what happens is, if no one's looking and no one's paying attention, which stuff's old news in an hour, these days, it's easy for people to kind of take advantage of that. So I just think that we need to be a lot stronger with the packages that we accept as a community, but we should be open, to change that will bring potential economic advancement, especially if the alternative choice is nothing, so I think that was really cool how you explained it. I wonder if you ever explained it that way to everyone.
Well, we did. We explained. And the thing about it is that you're even with that pilot, if it starts at $800,000, it would go up every year, and for 2%, 3%. Then finally, after a certain amount of years, it will reach the full tax.
Yeah.
And now that they had the industrial benefit, the IDA, industrial agency there, they were monitoring some of these groups, but then, we still have some way to go here in Village of Hempstead. We got a lot of things to do. I really believe with this pandemic, next year is going to be really rough here in the village, because of the lost tax revenue from the state, lost tax revenue from the county. I'm hoping that services in the village won't be cut. Today I hear that in New York City they're getting ready to cut the medical service. the EMT guys, and so it's just a matter of time before all of that trickles down to the local level.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a real serious problem next year.
So what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment as a public servant?
One of the accomplishments that I had was, first of all, when we were able to turn around the finances of the village, and that was really crippling the the residents. You having taxes, you paying taxes, but then you still got a budget. So we accomplished that in about 2 years. And when I left office, from that $6 million plus deficit, when I left office, we had over $10 million surplus.
Wow! So from $6 million in the red to $10 million in the black.
To 10 plus.
10 plus million.
I don't know the exact number.
That's wonderful.
And I think because of my real concern, my caring for the residents of Hempstead, I mean, my best intentions were about them. I put them first.
And for me, that was always apparent, as a resident, as someone who did not know you personally, that was always apparent for me.
The residents first, that was all that because I live here, and I wanted the best. I wanted people from outside Hempstead to look at Hempstead and say, oh, it's a great place to be, or it's a good place to be. They're doing the right things in there. And just the way that some of the comments that I saw coming in, from on Newsday,
the press,
the press. Every time there's somebody gets shot, they arraigned in Hempstead, and that gave us negative.
True.
You can't. I try to tell Newsday, why is it every time when someone is being arraigned, it has to be in Hempstead? Why you have to say Hempstead? Because people associate that with something negative.
Yeah.
And then if you can see the comments that come in, so I think because of my concern for the community, that was, and I felt was one of the accomplishments. My real goal was to, make Hempstead a place where people would come and, be like a magnet for young people. And, like I said, I ran out of time.
No, your legacy lives on and strong, and you are still here. What are 2 things you learned serving as the mayor in the Village of Hempstead that you did not know before you came in as mayor?
What did I learn?
That voice you hear in the back is his legacy. That is Wayne Hall Jr. when he said, "Surround yourself with a great team."
One of the difficult things is that you cannot, being the mayor, I was surprised that people hated me and didn't know me just because of my position. I also felt, not that I felt, I knew that I could not, no matter what you did, there's always going to be opposition to you. Even though it benefits the residents, there is always going to be that opposition. And that makes everything, kind of difficult.
Harder, it does.
Because you get people fighting you, and even though they know it's beneficial to them, they just because it's you, they say no. So one of the things of being in government and being in, you gotta have thick skin.
I'm working on it.
People gonna beat you up. They're gonna say things that are not true. They're gonna accuse you of a whole lot of stuff. I'm still being accused, even though I've been out of office 3.5 years. I'm still being accused.
God, has it been 3.5 years? Jesus.
So that's the hard part, because I know I did my best, and I know my interest was the residents of the Village of Hempstead. Hempstead first. That's what I did. But still to some people, they accuse me of doing underhanded things, taking things under that hurts.
It's sad because the only constant in life is change. So it's very sad when you meet people and they're so scared of change, and to me that speaks to not trusting things. Again, that I think that's really a product of our generational historical trauma. We don't trust things, and we're really programmed to not trust each other, you know. And I say that all the time. Like, there are moments where I feel like I'm treated a certain way because somebody can assume my age and my race. I'm treated a certain way. Like, they'll give me one approach where they would never ever approach someone else who is the opposite of what I look like, even if they weren't serving them, even if they weren't. So it's like we're held to a very different standard by everyone. By everyone.
Too.
Yeah, we're held by a difference. But then you also get the beautiful strangers, people who pray for you never even met, people who like are grateful for you, people who, you know, maybe they have to lose things to see it, but I've met so many wonderful people I would have never met if I continued to live within a community and not be engaged, you know. So I'm definitely grateful for that. But
when you say constant is change, but here it also constant is people don't want to change.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you get the opposition. Even if you show them that this is really going to be great, they just don't want they want things to be like it was.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, things can't stay like they were.
They can't. That's growth. That's stagnation. You know, and when you're stagnant, you're not learning, you're not progressing, and we are meant to be lifelong learners. And for our community, we have a lot of catching up to do. So there really is not time to rest. You know, first let me ask you, congratulations on your retirement. How has retirement been? Because I know you haven't had a break in like 18 years. Like, so to cut off all your hats, sort of.
Retirement is going good. I'm doing my retirement. I got to take a course for personal trainer.
Love it.
I'm waiting to take the test because of the COVID. Took us out of the test.
Love it.
Also, I'm doing a nutrition course with Precision Nutrition. Be certified, nutritionist.
I love that.
Just for in conjunction with the personal training.
Yeah.
They're gonna start training elderly people.
Brilliant.
People who had transplant like I had. They're afraid to start to get into things. I'm Hempstead's best fisherman.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
he really might be, y'all. Like,
but unfortunately, with this pandemic, I can't get out on the boat to exercise that title. So I take up gardening.
Oh, I love that.
Just this last week, we pulled up lima beans.
Oh.
We pulled up a lot of stuff, and also taking this computer programming course.
And how's that going?
Python.
Oh, nice.
So I'm doing that. So I'm busy. In my retirement. So. And besides that, we get out early in the morning. My wife just retired in April.
Hi, Mrs. Hall.
She retired in April, and we go almost every day out walking 4 or 5 miles.
Love it.
So,
Love it.
And that's it with retirement. As I said, my retirement is I keep myself busy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I heard you had a grandchild recently.
Yes, Dash.
Oh my God, what's that like?
Yeah, well, I haven't held him yet because he's too small.
They are keeping this baby from us.
He's too small. He comes over.
He's scared to hold him.
He comes over, and my wife, she takes. And I just look at him. Hey, Dash, how you doing?
Literally, I've seen him through glass. I've seen him through glass like a supervised, supervision.
Everybody's gonna hold him soon.
Yeah, he keeps telling me every week. He's like, and next week, and
I'm
soon,
gonna wait till he gets
and coming soon. But you know what, Wayne? I have something for you. Wayne, why don't you come on screen real
when
quick?
he gets 3 months.
Bring a chair up. Come on. Okay, so I wanted to do something like Mayor Hall. You seriously have inspired so many people, right, to be the best versions of themselves, to consider leadership. You allowed me as a resident to feel the government. You were always accessible, and so many people are thankful for you and your service and your family's sacrifice, and this being your oldest son, your namesake. He is probably your biggest fan. So Wayne, I want you to share with your dad how you feel about his accomplishments, and how, don't look at your,
No,
you're not going
you're
to,
bringing it.
oh, I was like, you're not going
Go ahead,
anywhere.
go ahead, go
How
ahead.
you feel about his accomplishments and how he inspired you to inspire me to be here.
Okay, well, you know, I remember when he first ran for office, I was still in high school, I believe. No, I wasn't in high school. I was out of high school. I was going to Nassau Community College, so I'd wake up early in the morning, and I'd see he would start walking the community, and when I would get out of school, I'd ride back, maybe through the Heights, and I would see him over there, and he was just everywhere, so, you know, I didn't know, you know, he had that much determination in him, and it inspired me. I saw him become the mayor, because remember he told me, he always told this story, we used to live at 251 Jackson Street, which is across from Village Hall. And I think you used to tell me this. We lived in an apartment. He used to look out and say he would be the mayor of the village one day. This was back in the 80s, and I always remember that story. And you know, he became the mayor. Became mayor for 12 years, and you know, it inspired me to get in politics. And you know, that's why we're here in this office today.
Yeah.
Because of, you know,
Yep.
my hero, my inspiration.
Don't make me cry.
My dad.
That is so beautiful. Like, that is just so beautiful. Like, that is really like, it's like royalty almost. Like, I feel like, and I know I have Melissa in there. Like, it's very emotional. Like, it's like so nice, and they have to see that because this is what all of our families can be. You know, like if we take care of each other, if we put each other first, that legacy, that model, like that's amazing. Like, what if your dad decided to choose to do something else that wasn't so inspirational, let's say, you know, like he made that choice to be a dad, and Wayne, from the second I met him, it has been his dad. It was funny story. Wayne and I both were like, we're gonna run for mayor of Hempstead one day, and we kind of would put people in the middle to be like, who would you vote for if we ran against each other? And it was just really something amazing because he knows so much, and you know, your children, I think, in a lot of cases are a reflection of you. And to be able to lead and then still be there for your family, I think that's awesome. But in that, I'm gonna close. I just really appreciate you for your time and everything. And I guess we could do a cute little closeout breaker. Like, I'll say two things and you tell me, so we can get to know you a little bit better. I'll say two things, you let me know what you prefer, okay? It'll be easy. All right, so coffee or tea?
Neither.
Yeah, I don't either like that. Don't tell my British family that. But I don't like tea either. Okay, so the beach or the mountains?
Both. I like to climb up the mountains. I like to just go to the beach fishing.
Oh,
Fishing,
good.
surf fishing.
Okay, Coke or Pepsi?
I think I like Pepsi.
That's a New York thing. You like Coke over Pepsi?
Coke is better.
I like Pepsi. I like Pepsi. It's sweeter and it's not as acidic.
Okay, all right. So, where is the last place you traveled to?
Connecticut.
Okay, cool. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
I would go to the land of my parents, which is Jamaica.
I hear that. Okay. Have you been?
I've been there several times.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's see. And last question. If someone came to you and asked for assistance running a campaign, what would you tell them?
Tell them I got all the time in the world to help you, and I can give you my experience from running, and I got a plan.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mayor Hall. Thank you, Wayne. And guys, this is one of our village mayors, and we're just so grateful to have had this time, and thank you for being so vulnerable and open about your leadership. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.